Welcome to Video Games Are Hard, Episode 7, the Pokemon-themed episode, with my pal Average Trey and I, Sided Williams. We have a guest this week, our resident Pokemon expert and good person alike, Kwaniza.
Thank you. Hey guys.
We need him because we are certainly not Pokemon experts, but he definitely is.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I know some stuff about Pokemon. This is... I don't play the games, but I know some stuff.
Hold on. Continue.
Pyroshade has approved this guest choice. I just had to message him before we started this podcast.
Expert.
We have to ask Pyroshade's approval on specifically Pokemon-related guests, and apparently Kwaniza and him have been interacting before this podcast. So Kwaniza, we will do a Kwaniza interview, but first, considering Sword and Shield just came out, we wanted to do a Pokemon-themed episode with our expert.
Yeah.
But before we go into specifically Sword and Shield, I wanted to break the ice. I don't know what everybody's opinion of the game is right now. I haven't played it. I know Kwan's played it. Trey hasn't played it. But I have opinions. Kwan definitely has opinions. And Trey did some research.
I watched a little bit of Worcester's playthrough to get a sense of what the game's about.
Nice.
All right, he did some research just now.
I did some very intensive research. Oh, and I looked up the IGN article.
But before we get into all of our opinions of the game, we're going to ask a simple Pokemon question just to lighten the mood. What's your favorite Pokemon, Trey?
Oh, this is the hardest question ever. Are you kidding me?
Is this the hardest question?
This is the hardest question you could have asked.
Can I you want me to reveal mine? Kwan, do you have an answer ready?
Yeah, first one I think of mine.
Yeah, get to me last.
Okay, I have two favorite Pokemons. I'm a Gen 2
that's
guy.
Cheating. What the hell?
Oh, is that cheating? All right, my favorite Pokemon
one.
is my blanket answer is always Girafarig.
Crystal? Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh, favorite
Gen 2.
Pokemon, not Pokemon game. Oh, okay.
No.
Oh,
Pokemon.
Yeah, individual
hold up, bro. You got to come back to me for that. Go ahead, Trey.
Yeah, this is a hard question. I thought.
God.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I thought it was super easy, but then again, I guess I'm not a huge
There's
Pokemon
only
fan.
What, 800, 900 Pokemon? It's easy. Just pick one.
I like Girafarig because in the anime or the cartoon, as we used to call it before anything, when he uses the Pokedex on Girafarig, it just says his name's a palindrome, and it's just you look at this Pokemon, it's like this half giraffe, half moon sun Pokemon. And it's just like his name's a palindrome, and you're just like, okay, I guess that's cool. My other the Pokemon that I like otherwise is Salandit.
Wow.
From the most recent generation. That's a very up to date.
Yeah,
Pokemon.
that is not a boomer answer right there. That is your shit. You're saying Salandit.
I do like myself some Salandit. I think he mostly more importantly she is a very cool Pokemon. Because only Salandits that are female evolve.
Yeah.
That's very progressive.
It is, well, sure.
I don't know. It's an interesting Pokemon.
It's a little sexist, but it's whatever.
Well, yeah, but it's still an interest. Anybody, do you guys have any answers?
Trey?
Mine's so lame, dude.
Pikachu.
But it's going to become painfully obvious that I'm just...
Pikachu.
Pikachu! No. Actually be even better than my actual answer. But it's going to become obvious pretty quickly that Gen 3 is really my specialty.
Yes.
In fact, it's pretty much the only one I play. I played Gen 4 as well. I had Diamond version, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. I thought it was alright, but I kind of got bored after that game, to be honest. But Emerald version was the one that I really played the most.
Good game.
And I got to go with Sceptile, because he and I, that's the fully evolved version of Trico. And my Sceptile and I, we got that close connection going on.
That's respectable.
You know,
Gen 3, all three
answer.
starters in Gen 3 are god tier. That's my opinion.
I gotta agree. I mean, who doesn't love Mudkips, honestly?
Yeah. I think,
dude, I'm so like I said Salandit as one of my episode or my favorites, but I'm so everything in between Crystal and Sun, I have no idea what any of these Pokemon are.
For my favorite though, I think when I was like 10, I would have said Sceptile. So you have something in common with 10-year-old me, Trey. My answer might be surprising. I actually forgot the Pokemon's name. Wait, what's it called?
Wait, what?
What's it called? It's the little
Suicune.
No. It's the little.
Not Suicune.
It's the little Pikachu clone from Gen 6.
Oh, Gen 6. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
The one that wears the outfit of Pikachu.
No, that's Gen 7.
God, how many gens are there now?
I'm trying my best.
The Gen 6
Are we on Gen 8?
clone of Pikachu is my favorite Pokemon. That I forgot its name.
That's your favorite Pokemon and you forgot its name.
Just Google clone of Pikachu Gen 6.
See, I remembered Salandit's name.
I'm looking it up right now.
And its evolved form, Salazzle.
Was
exclusively females. Anyway, well, Kwan tries to figure that out.
But actually, I think my favorite that little mouse thing is my second favorite. Probably my favorite is Scizor. Probably
Scissor's a good pick.
Scissor's always been my favorite.
Scissor's always a solid
Either
pick.
Scizor
That's a
or
good pick.
Crobat.
That's so like. That's so cool. Like Scizor is so cool, but to pick him is so lame.
But he's so cool, and I've always
He's so cool. That's not lame.
Like he's so cool, but it's so lame. What a lame choice.
Scissor's dope. Crobat is dope. I love.
Is the one you were thinking of, Kwan, Deaden?
No, it's the Dene. Yeah.
Dedenne?
Dene. But yeah,
I
love Dedenne. That Pokemon is dope.
Yeah, first of all, you were talking about Minion and Plusle. That's Gen 3. I only know Gen 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Gen 2, and then I tried Black. I don't remember anything about Black, but I got halfway through the game, and then I played Sun recently, and got to an island where Hal actually beat me, and then I was like, I'm kind of done with this game.
I think that Black version was my brother's favorite Pokemon game.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'll get into it later, but I feel like I grew out of Pokemon. But I do have opinions on this most current. We can get into Sword and Shield now. Now that we can get into the bread and butter of the podcast.
Very controversial
or the beginning
topic.
of the podcast, anyway. Yeah, dude, there are really strong opinions on both sides of the aisle of this.
I mean, IGN loves it.
IGN loves it.
In fact,
Zero
and I
hates
quote,
it.
"The 40+ hours I've spent with Sword and Shield have left me comfortable with calling them the best Pokemon games I've ever played, and I've played them all."
Well, can't argue that.
Dude, I'm sold. I should get this game right now.
That's part of Trey's research. He read the IGN.
Sid,
I looked up the article, read the first paragraph, boom.
Sid,
Dude, I read pieces of it. The headline said something about
in-depth research.
It's what is it? It streamlined everything about Pokemon but left all of its charm. Something about that, and I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like the grind was what a lot of people liked about it.
The main thing I'm gathering from all these articles and what I've watched is that you sort of just level up your stuff much quicker and sort of just get things quicker. But at that point, it's almost like what game is left to play? You're just sort of going through the basic motions, but like, I don't know. Something's missing, it feels like.
You know what? I feel like we're gonna leave the intro to this critique of Sword and Shield to the one person that played it, and not the person that just did an hour of research.
Hey man, I watched an entire hour of Worcester. I know what I'm talking about.
Kwaniza, take away Sword and Shield.
All right, I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think I think about the game? Just out of nowhere, what do you guys think? You guys think I like it or hate it?
I think you dislike it.
You said you want to come on the podcast and complain about Pokemon, so probably dislike it.
All right. Well, to give background, I've played every Pokemon game, every version, right? It's Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, all that crap.
Did you write this
you mean
IGN
like
article?
every single, even like dual release one?
Yes, every single little release of a game I've played. I've probably, Gen 1 through 4, I've probably beaten like, in total, all the games throughout those, I probably beat them like 8 times for each gen.
Damn,
dude. And you can't remember your favorite Pokemon.
Shut up. So I played a ton of like Gen 1 through 4, and then a lot of 5, because 5 was pretty good.
Okay, quick question. Out of Gen 1 through 4, what's your favorite individual Pokemon game.
It's got to be Platinum. Either Platinum or Crystal? Platinum or Crystal. Emerald's close. Emerald, Platinum, Crystal. Like all the third entries are all really good. And even Yellow is really good. So, I mean...
That's where they perfect their craft. That's why, personally, if Sword and Shield gets pretty good rep after all, I'm going to go with Pokemon Gun.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Gun should be pretty good.
Should be pretty lit.
But, yeah, I mean, Gen 5, Black and White wasn't very good. Black 2 and White 2 was really good, though. Gen 6 was... I liked the Pokemon, the aesthetics, but the game was just really easy. Like, even for Pokemon standards, the game was stupid easy. 7, low-key. People want to say 7 was easy. 7 is low-key one of the hardest Pokemon games. Because,
Really?
Yeah. Mostly because the boss battles, the totem fights are really hard.
I did lose to Hal, for the record. So I will go along with this hardest argument. Yeah.
It is a pretty hard game. But the game kind of sucks. I don't know what it is about Pokemon Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon. It's just no replay value at all. It's just boring, I guess. I don't know.
The beginning is so slow.
Yeah, the whole game is slow, really.
But it has Alola fucking giant neck guy. Who is that again?
Executor, please.
Executor, there you go.
Oh, God.
Come on, you say you researched.
I didn't research non-Sword and Shield.
What's the name of Executor?
It's way too much work.
That's what you Google.
All right.
Anyway, continue.
So I've only played through the first 4 gyms though of Sword and Shield, so I can't give a full review. Obviously.
How many hours?
Let me look.
He said 8 playthroughs of each, so you can do the math.
No, I mean how many hours in Sword and Shield?
Oh, my bad.
Probably like 8. I'm looking right now.
Okay. He's already beaten the game 8 times.
I have no idea. But yeah, Sword and Shield so far. I've actually really liked it so far.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's actually... I don't know. I get a lot of my enjoyment out of Pokemon just like finding new Pokemon and like being surprised by shit. And the problem with Sun and Moon and Gen 7 or Gen 6 is that Game Freak, like, they showed off 90% of the Pokemon before the game even released. And fans were not happy about that. But for like the first time, Game Freak listened, and it looks like they only showed off like 10% of the Pokemon before they actually like released the game. So that's what I've been liking. I still hate the experience share. It's kind of kills.
Forced experience share seems like the worst idea ever.
It's a little better now, but it's like not as broken now. They kind of like nerfed it a tiny bit, but it still kind of sucks. I don't know. It's like, more fun.
It seems like you just end up collecting a whole party of Pokemon and then just having your lead Pokemon just kind of destroy everything, and you never end up using the rest of your party. But
I will say, difficulty-wise, the game is like whatever. But I want to say this about Pokemon. Pokemon's never been hard. Can we just say that? Pokemon has never been hard. People who say
Pokemon, I feel like it's not supposed to be hard.
Yeah, people who say Pokemon's too easy now just don't understand. They go off of like the game being hard during their nostalgia years when they were 7 or 8 and they sucked and they only used Sceptile till he was like level 80.
Yeah,
throughout the whole game. They don't understand that Pokemon has always been easy. It's never been hard. There's only been a few like hard things. Obviously, like Gen 2 Red is ridiculous. Gen 4, actually, Cynthia, the champion battle, is stupid hard for Pokemon standards. There's some other things, but other than that, like, Pokemon's a super easy game. So difficulty-wise, obviously this game's pretty easy if you know what you're doing, but it's not piss easy like Gen 6. So I'll take that.
Which games were Gen 6? You keep saying Gen 6. I don't know what games.
XY, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
Oh, so you include like the remake stuff in that gen?
I would include the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire was stupid easy too and handholdy. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. You remember how hard it was fighting Latios in Gen 3, Trey?
Yes, I do.
They're stupid hard. You know what they do in that game? After your like 3rd or 4th badge, Steven or someone just goes, "Oh, here's Latios. You can have him," and you just get Latios on your party.
What?
Yeah. You might have to catch them, But it's like the catch rate's super easy. It's so bad. You just get an overpowered dragon type, like by your 4th badge. It's so bad. And but yeah, Gen 6, stupid easy. But I'm only 4 gyms into Sword and Shield. I really like it so far. Yes, it's kind of bare bones. Yes, the graphics are awful for a console game.
Hey, you gotta like the callback to the Ocarina of Time style trees, though. Come on,
dude, those trees are so bad. When you actually play the game, the tree is like that's like the only thing you can look at when you're in the wild area is those awful trees. But I mean,
and new Meowth. Come on,
dude, bro. I didn't know about the new Meowth before I started playing. When I saw that Meowth, that was one of the best.
You were like, I'm gonna catch that shit.
Yeah, I caught the hell out of that shit.
Yeah. Like, what does the Persian look like?
I don't know. I'm actually not using it, but it's still cool.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean, we can get in the whole thing about graphics and Game Freak bullshit.
I have notes definitely like specifically about the graphics.
Get into it. Go. Well, what do you want to talk about?
Well, see, so I watched Worcester for like probably 5 or 6 hours of his 8-hour run the other day. And I watched... See, one thing about my opinion of Sword and Shield, it's gone way back and forth. Where it's just like, I watched Worcester do about 6 hours of his run. Like, I watched the end, and I watched, like, a little bit after the start.
Mm-hmm.
And when he finished the game, he said his opinion is just like, yeah, my one comment on Gen 7, so Sun and Moon, was that, like, everybody seemed to think those games were easy, but they weren't. Those games weren't easy.
Mm-hmm.
This game... seems pretty easy. Like, that was his one comment. And everybody, I think because his stream is very, like, he doesn't talk a lot and his chat is basically the only comments you get to see on the game, I got this feeling of this game's really bad. Like, it seemed really easy because the Speedrunner was playing it, and I was reading a chat that was very, very angry at, or like super in-depth and nerdy about the Pokemon, and you can feel the toxicity in it all. Not that it's toxic bad, just like it's Twitch chat.
It just felt on Twitter and YouTube, everything about this game has been super toxic, and it's mostly from like old school fans or people who haven't played the game since like, I don't know, Gen 3 or something, or it's also just people from like other communities shitting on the game because the graphics are bad and stuff.
I'd like for it to be noted that I'm not one of those people. I'm definitely one of those people that played Gen 2 and loved Gen 2 and then just periodically played it and then didn't enjoy any of them.
All right, here's the breakdown. I'm going to just break it down real quick. Is the game bad? No. It's Pokemon. It's good. It's going to be a fun experience for anybody who doesn't come into it thinking like...
See, that's what I was getting to. So I watched the Worcester playthrough, and I thought, oh man, this is bad. Everybody's going to hate it. I watched 3 other streamers play it. I watched Ludwig, and I watched Plup, and I watched Mango, I think. Somebody else. I don't remember if it was Mango, but it was somebody. And they seemed to have a lot of fun with it. They... it actually, after watching them play it, I was like, am I getting this game? Like I went this whole range of emotion where it's just like, this game looks horrible. I'm not even considering getting this. This seems really bad. To, I might get this. This seems really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a weird whole spectrum shift to if you like casual play it versus try to hardcore play it, I guess. But Dynamaxing seems really fucking weird.
It's not good.
Yeah, not gonna lie. I saw
like
a couple of those Dynamax things. I had no clue what was going on.
I think the Gigantamax, which is like the Mega Evolution equivalent where the Pokemon actually changes forms, are pretty cool. And when you actually play the game when you're in your first gym, and the environment of the gym and stuff, along with those giant Pokemon, I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty cool. But the mechanic itself is pretty lame. I'd much rather have Mega Evolutions in the game. But also, the great thing about the game, in my opinion, is that you like Gen 6 or Gen 7, you can't spam Mega Evolutions or Z moves throughout the playthrough. The Dynamax is only available in gym battles. So far in my playthrough, I'm sure there's going to be some special battles later that have Dynamaxing. But you can't spam it. It's not going to be like an overpowered thing in your playthrough.
Z moves were the worst.
Z moves sucked. I hated Z moves.
I hate Z moves.
They were so bad.
I also didn't even like they tried to streamline in Sun and Moon. They tried to streamline the fly and the surf and all that stuff. I didn't even like that.
That's got mixed opinions.
I kind of liked from the old maybe it's the boomer in me or whatever you want to call it, but I liked getting the HM and being like, which Pokemon, like I need to have a Pokemon that can fly or surf. Like having this service of a Charizard that randomly shows up and flies me places is like weird.
They pretty much removed the need for an HM slave.
Yeah, they have.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, I guess.
It's not, but there's something about like it's your Pokemon that's flying you. There's something about that like is charming and nice, and I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
But
see, my only go for it.
Well, I was just gonna say they do have an equivalent of like the Charizard fly in this, but it's kind of worse. It's like the Corviknight taxi. But the thing I don't like about it is there's not even an animation for it. The Charizard one, you see Charizard flying and swoop you in. For this, it just cuts to black, and then you're at the next spot. It's pretty lame.
The animations... Okay, I saw a video actually about the evolution of Pokemon battle animations. And it's pretty interesting. They just sort of went... Like, over time, they added more little custom sprite animations, and then there was models and all that stuff. But when you think of, like, the scope of the game... You gotta animate every individual Pokemon differently, and that only leaves room for so much you can do with the game itself. So it's like, I don't know. It's
see, then you make that argument.
We're gonna get into why they chose to cut things in animations and stuff.
Well, you make that argument. You make that argument, and then somebody's gonna rebuttal with just like, oh, they're gonna make however many $1 million on this game and no budget. Like, I feel like
there's obviously
argument,
some budget.
I know, but it's just like there's somebody going to come out of the woodwork and say that argument, and I've seen that argument so many times.
That's all I ever see on Twitter anymore.
So like my complaints about this game are mostly just like the complaints that I've had with pretty much, I don't know, all the 3D Pokemon games, where it's just like, and I was talking about it with Trey the other day. It just feels like a kid's game. Like, I know it's supposed to be a kid's game, and everybody goes like, well, it is a kid's game. And I'm like, I get it. But when it was a pixel game, or like an 8-bit game, back in Crystal and the Game Boy era and stuff like that, you could transpose that it isn't. Like, there's more, you can read between the lines and kind of independently think about the game otherwise. Where instead, in this game, it just kind of forces you into a perspective of, this is a kid's game and it looks like a kid's game, and you're playing a kid's game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like it was necessary to make the transition to like full 3D for main series Pokemon? Could they have stuck with just the top-down view the whole way? Or would that like not age well eventually?
See, I don't think so, but they had to make a choice. And I don't like their choice.
Now that they've done this, they have to commit to that for all future games. So.
Yeah, but see, that was what I was talking to you about. It's just like, it'd be really cool if they could iterate on it and be like Zelda, where it's just like, well, here's Wind Waker, and here's a really childish looking Link that a lot of people are going to hate, and here's Twilight Princess, where here's this really dark video game with the themes of death and darkness and things like that in contrary to Wind Waker and stuff like that. So if they made a Pokemon that was more adult, I would be totally down. But like, because they chose this way to go down with the Pokemon games and all of the Pokemon games, like, it's not like they're all just very kiddie, and I just can't get into them.
I mean, that's what gets the most money, I think.
Pardon me?
That's what gets the most money, probably.
Yeah, it's just the most neutral for everybody. But when they made that choice to go down that road, I was just totally out. Because 8-bit, you just kind of... It doesn't tell you... Like, you can have a conversation between Lance and the character from Crystal. I don't even know what their like names are. But you can have that conversation, and there's no cutscenes. So it's just like two things on a screen talking to one another, and then you go outside and you're interacting with like Team Rocket, but it's two little 8-bit characters on a screen. So there's like some imagination that you have to put into it, rather than here's these things on a screen, this is what it is, here's Team Yell. Yeah, and it's just like,
don't talk about Team Yell. Don't talk about that.
The more specific you get with your graphics and more detailed you get, when you watch the cutscenes in this game, you almost expect there to be voice acting and stuff, but there's not, and it just feels kind of awkward.
Yeah, I will say the most jarring thing was when you first open the game and you see this great big cutscene, and it looks like the little minister guy, I don't know what he is, the master of ceremonies guy, starts talking, and it's just text at the bottom of the screen. That was kind of jarring, how there was no voice acting.
Yeah, that immediately...
That was weird.
That was a little weird to me.
There's also a part of the game where there's a performance with like a rock group where you can hear all the instruments, but the lyrics are written at the bottom of the screen.
That makes sense.
That was watching Worcester do that part and him being like, "What the hell is going on?" was very, very interesting.
Well, in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, there's a whole bands part, and they actually say words, so I would recommend that game.
What? Yeah, I don't get it. How come they can't afford to even just maybe voice act a couple things here and there?
It's not about affording, it's about their timetable, and Game Freak needs to put out their game on a timetable. So when people... Yes, Game Freak is lazy as hell with what they're doing and the graphics and stuff, and the animations. A lot of it's laziness, but also a lot of it is that Pokemon as a whole is so big, the games aren't even like their main money-making thing. The games to them now are more of a promoting tool, I would say, for their other things. Like, the money they make on the games is probably like a sixth of what they make with everything else, maybe probably less. I think I saw that Pokemon Masters, the mobile game, it's dead now, but within its first couple weeks, it made like hundreds of millions of dollars in microtransaction or something. And just that is insane. So yeah, they have to get their games out on a certain time. If something's bad about the game, they will not delay it because it needs to match up with the anime. It needs to match up with the TCG. It needs to match up with their other ventures, Pokemon Go. It needs to match up with all that stuff. So the whole thing can just run a perfect like cycle and cog. It's just a cog in the machine, what the video games are. And that's why these games aren't... That's why they have to allot their times to certain things. They can't allot as much time into graphics or animations as they have to in actually making well-designed Pokemon and somewhat of a story and world building and designing the region and all that shit. So that is the main reason why the animations are bad, the graphics are still bad, a lot of things seem reused.
What about the Pokemon? Is it the Pokemon animations you're talking about, or just the people? Because the people I can totally get behind. It looks like custom Robo.
Yeah, the people, Pokemon too. Some animations are better than others when the Pokemon battles and stuff. But yeah,
does anybody remember custom Robo? Anybody know custom Robo?
I know of it.
Yeah, yeah. The people in Pokemon Sword and Shield move very much like custom Robo, and it's very jarring. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, no, that was my point though. It's like the video games are just a cog in the money making machine that is Pokemon. I think Pokemon is it's the most successful like entertainment property in the world. Like period.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like it makes that much money. So yeah, making the games like this perfectly crafted thing with things with perfect graphics and all that is not on their priority list. They need to churn out the game. And they put the effort into things they think is the most important to actually complete the game, not to make the game look perfect. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying this is as defense. I'm just saying that's a part of the problem of the games will never be like as good as they can be, is because it's just a part of this machine.
You are having fun with it though.
The game.
This one.
Yeah, I think the game's still fun so far.
The animations didn't ruin it forever.
No, it's fine. And also, I'll also make this point. Pokemon games, when they first get onto like the next little console, like the DS or the 3DS, the first series is always it's not very impressive at all, graphically at all. The second one, like Gen 9, should be a step. Wait, what are we on? Gen 8? Yeah, Gen 9.
Yeah, right.
Gen 9 should be a step up if you go off of other gens. So it's more. It goes back to what I was saying. Like they just put something out there, and then they focus on other shit later in the time that they can focus on it, to where they don't have to like worry about just turning out the game.
So why don't they, in your expert opinion, why don't they churn out the advertisement game, the generation game, like the Sword and Shield and the Sun and Moon and whatever? Why don't they put that advertisement game, and maybe they put another team on an actual good game that people will like, or more sophisticated, sophisticated audience would enjoy?
They won't.
Or something like that?
For a mainline game, they won't let anyone else touch it. There's no way. They need to control everything. Game Freak.
But why wouldn't... But what?
I don't know.
I just want a good Pokemon game that I can enjoy.
I mean, what do you know what would even comprise of a Pokemon game that would be?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, weren't you somewhat sold on Sword and Shield?
See, that's the fucking weird ass shit. I'm trying to like channel two different parts of my brain, where one is is looking at it like and the other one looks at it and goes down. Like there's just like two different parts of my brain I'm trying to channel and having two different conversations at the same time. But
so wait, what do you want? What would you want in a Pokemon game though?
I don't want it to look like a kid's game.
That's not gonna happen. So.
I think that's my biggest gripe. Like when they chose to give the Pokedex a face, I was just kind of like,
yeah,
what?
That was a little whack.
So, like, just when they chose the 3D art style, why don't they just like have other games that look different? But I guess they're trying to like go with the anime, and they're also trying to go with what they had as pixel art back in the day. And this does look like it's the next iteration of what would be in like the combination of the anime and the previous games, but it definitely isn't what me as an adult, and probably a lot of people as adults, would look for. But then again, I play Super Mario Sunshine, and those other there's probably a lot of adults out there that don't give a shit enough about Pokemon. And I'm definitely one of those people that can consider himself somebody that doesn't care enough about. I've tried multiple times to try to get back in. I did play Crystal, and I played half of Black, and then I played a little bit of Sun, just trying to like see if Pokemon has gotten to somewhere where I would enjoy it again, because people recommended Black to me. It's like, oh, if you don't like Pokemon anymore, like Black is probably like people will love it.
No, well, Black 2, not Black.
Well, this was back when only Black was out.
Okay, and then Black was bad though.
No, I didn't buy Black recently to try to get back into it. I bought it when it was like a few months old or something like that.
I think I'm gonna have to play. I'm gonna have to play another Pokemon at some point to ever regain my interest in the series, because for a few different games like Minecraft or something, or any other random game, I have like windows in my life where I'm obsessed with that game for like a month or 2 months, then I move on. And I only ever had like one window of time where I was obsessed with Pokemon. Yeah. And then after that window, I've never really felt the same way about it.
Same. Exactly the same.
But I feel like if I play one and like give another one a chance, that might come back. But part of me is like, I don't know, it might be too late for that.
See, I feel like I've tried it enough times that I can look at them and be like, no.
Not the same.
I've tried to get back into them enough. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like if you don't enjoy Pokemon as a concept enough, and you don't have the crazy nostalgia, you probably won't like it. But I don't know if that's you.
But I do have the crazy nostalgia.
All right, well, I don't know then, because I'm pretty sure
I don't know either. Sure that's why I'm mad.
I'm pretty sure my love for Pokemon is like 80% nostalgia at least, and it still hits my it still gets my shit pumping. Yeah. Whenever I play Pokemon, I don't know what it is about it. It hits that thing. What's that thing in your brain that like makes you happy or whatever? What's it called? I don't know.
Cerebellum.
Cerebellum.
I don't think that's it.
Yeah, something in there.
Whatever.
It's your gag
Your
reflex. I get
hippocampus.
it. I get it. I get what you're putting down. You don't enjoy the game. You gag reflex.
Oh, isn't it like endorphins? Or
Yeah,
something?
it gets my endorphins going, or gives
There you
me
go.
endorphins, whatever that
I'm
means.
a brain expert.
Yeah, like when you smoke a weed
So-
or whatever.
To sum up, Sword and Shield. It looks. If you like Pokemon, you'll probably like it.
I think you'll like it even
Enough.
more if you're not a crazy freak Pokemon fan. Like you were saying before. You were saying
So
before,
you got-
Worcester was playing it, right? And he said, well, this is kind of easy. But that's Worcester. He literally...
Yeah, literally
he's
like
the
the
I
greatest
know.
Pokemon
He's
player alive.
He probably knows more about like Pokemon than like almost anybody when it comes to just like...
One of the funniest moments of that stream, just to like talk about it for a second, is there's the theme of one of the gyms is it like asks questions, and you have there's like a pop quiz each like move at the start of each round or something like that. And the first question was I don't remember what specifically the question was, but you got two options in response. It's just like, what is this type weak to? And the two options were like fairy and steel. And he's like, and the funniest moment was I'm sitting there going like, I have no idea. And Worcester goes, both. It's both.
Oh, that's dope. What the heck?
So like he could have picked either one and he would have won.
That's insane.
But that was probably the funniest moment of the
I was
stream.
saying the Worcester could say the game was easy, but look at someone like Mango, like you were saying. Mango's no Pokemon expert, probably. I bet just him being a little casual fuck would absolutely enjoy the game.
So, like, watching Worcester, I was looking at it being like, this looks like the worst game ever. And I was watching every casual player being like, this actually looks really good.
Yep.
Like, this looks kind of
And the
fun.
thing is,
they're
95% of the 20 million copies this game is going to be sold aren't the people complaining on Reddit and Twitter. They're just casual people or parents buying it for their kids. So this game is still going to sell crazy amounts of copies.
Yeah, obviously.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
I've never seen more complaining on Twitter about a game in my whole life.
yeah, I mean, you still have to, like, Game Freak sucks. Like, you just
Like,
gotta say it like
dude.
that. Game Freak sucks with what they've done with their laziness. But if you look past all that, I'm not saying you should, but you look past all that,
If you
it's
do.
still gonna be a fun Pokemon game nonetheless.
Yeah. All right. So that's. I don't know. I'm waiting for something that's never going to exist. But to be fair, the only reason that I'm so vehement about it during this podcast is it's so lame to just sit here and like be like, I don't really have an opinion. It's super lame. But I do deep down have an opinion. But I can just as happily just sit here and be like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to get this Pokemon game.
Yeah. And also, I've only played through the first 4 gyms. If the next half of the game is complete trash, then maybe the game's complete trash. But I don't know yet, personally. So yeah.
All right.
Wait, Sid, I think I know what you
Pokemon
want in a
segment.
Pokemon game, though. This is what is gonna get you, right? All right, you see the
Sure.
trailer.
Oh shit.
Omori or Masuda comes in like, this is the next Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you guys know who they are.
Yeah, I had no idea who the hell you
Yeah,
were talking
I'm
about.
following you. I'm following you.
And
Japanese people, I assume.
it cuts to black. First thing you see, Pokemon. Second thing you see, Unreal Engine 4. Okay, now this has got Sid's attention.
Dude, Unreal Engine 4 just gets my goat. You know?
Next thing you see,
Gets my cerebellum pumping.
next thing you see, Pikachu, high def, super high def Unreal Engine 4.
Oh,
Not only
don't
that,
know.
I can see it
Pikachu
now.
Pikachu has a gun and is bloody. Pikachu just murdered
No.
someone.
Wait, isn't this just the real for Pokemon Gun? Like,
And then
don't spoil it for
you
everyone.
hear in the background just, return Pikachu. Pikachu goes back in the ball. Who comes out of the shadows? Norman Reedus. He is the main character of the next Pokemon game. I think that's what Sid
Yeah,
wants.
that would be insane.
I don't think that's what I want, but I honestly don't know what I want. I don't want the Pokedex to have a face anymore, and
That's what you don't want of all
that's
things.
secretly just all I want.
I'm not buying
Just
it
like,
because of that darn face.
like I'm fine with the voice. Like it's always had a voice. Trey was doing the impression of the Pokedex the other day, just like the robot.
doing
The
it
voice.
again.
Rotom. The Rotom.
I'm not doing it again. But like I'm totally down with it saying things to me, but it's not. It doesn't have a
Oh
personality.
god,
It's just
it was awful in Sun. At least in this game, it doesn't really talk to you. In Sun and Moon, it would just like talk to you all the time and tell you what to do. It was the worst.
Yeah, I just wanted that's what I wanted in a Pokemon game.
Oh, so Sun and Moon had an EGAD Pokédex?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was awful.
Yes.
In this game, it doesn't talk to you at all. It's actually very nice.
But it still has a face.
It does. It's actually a phone. It's not the Pokédex. The Pokédex is an app in your phone in this game.
Okay, so
why can't I just have a Pokédex?
We might have been wrapping up the Pokemon thing, but one final elephant in the room we should talk about. What is your thoughts on no longer having every Pokemon available to you in Pokemon games?
Alright, yeah, that's retarded. I hate that
like,
so much.
To some extent, like, can you blame them for not putting in over 800 Pokemon?
Yes, I'm gonna blame them, because my favorite thing about the Pokemon games is filling the Pokédex every generation. And now what? I only get to fill a 400 Pokédex?
Well, hey, they streamlined the process. You get to fill it so much easier now.
I'm good.
See, this whole thing, before Kwan like goes on a rant about this potentially, this whole argument made me realize that apparently every Pokemon was in every Pokemon game. I never knew that.
Well, not really. You had to like trade them over or transfer them from previous games.
Okay, so because when I played Crystal, I like got as many Pokemon as I could. I thought,
but
in the game,
in this game,
but I didn't get every Pokemon.
In all the games of this one, the models, all the assets, all the abilities, all the moves, all stuff were in the game. But you had to trade them through like past games, or the other game, or some other BS. In this game,
and also when you get to some of the post game stuff, you can find Pokemon that weren't like in the actual part of the game.
Yeah. But in this game, like Blastoise, Squirtle, Venusaur, Bulbasaur, their models just don't exist in the game.
Have you
seen the beginning of the old Pokemon show, like the first season of the Pokemon show, without the Pokemon that aren't in Sword and Shield?
I saw that.
That's so funny.
Was pretty good.
Just like, he has his arms open, waiting for Squirtle that never shows up.
That was pretty good.
Great.
But I mean, in the long run,
how do they?
Oh, go ahead, Trey.
How do they determine which Pokemon make the cut or not? Do they just like vote on it, or like choose the ones that fit best, or what?
Charmander.
Who gives a shit? They just throw some shit.
They just like choose. Okay, we're gonna use these ones, but not these ones. Okay, do it.
I don't know. I think it's not gonna be that big of a deal if they keep doing it, but we'll see. We'll see if they change.
Okay, so to end off our segment on how Sword and Shield was. I think everybody understands our opinions on the game.
What's going on?
Final question for you both. I started with favorite. What's your least favorite Pokemon?
Ooh.
I have an answer if nobody's ready.
Okay, go for it.
Ursaring is the worst Pokemon ever made.
What's wrong with Ursaring? Hello?
Ursaring is so boring.
He's just chilling, bro. He's just a bear. What's wrong with him?
He's like a normal Pokemon. He's massive. The previous the previous evolution of him is just like the most adorable thing on the planet, and then he just becomes a bear.
That's fine.
It's like
my least favorite actually is kind of similar to yours. It's Beware. Do you know who he is?
Offhand,
he's from Gen 7.
Right?
Look, I'll get a picture of him.
I'm looking it up.
He's like this stuffed animal bear that just looks so stupid. I hate him. I hate him and his pre-evolution. That's probably my least favorite Pokemon.
Mine, there was this one.
Oh shit! I'm looking at Beware. Sorry.
What was its name? I can picture it. It was like a steel flying type in Gen 3.
Skarmory?
Skarmory. For some reason,
that's
that guy
Gen
just
2.
pisses me off, dude.
That's Gen 2.
No,
See, I know Pokemon stuff. I just don't know in the middle.
Skarmory is like weirdly cool, but also weirdly lame at the same time. I can't put my finger on it.
I'll let you guys in on this. I never caught him, or I did have to end up catching him. But when I saw him, when I was a kid, when I played Crystal for the first time in the Rocky area, I don't remember what the towns are called, but in the Rocky area where he shows up, I saw him and went, nah.
Yeah, for some reason, Skarmory, I'm not a fan of his design. Whenever you face him, he's just kind of annoying to battle. And
yeah,
when you first
his
find
face
him,
just looks weird.
That shriek that he makes when you find him, it's like, oh, stop.
No, yeah, I get you. Yeah, that's a good answer.
I'm gonna go with that.
Wait, before we move off of Pokemon, can we talk about Pokemon Go for a second? I just want to...
Sure,
yeah, go for it.
I wasn't gonna bring up Pokemon Go because I've never played it. My sister plays it.
Pokemon Go is dope. it's like still, it's like even more active now, surprisingly, than it was before. Like,
no, not during its boom phase.
Not at launch. It was active at launch in a different way, though. It was active because everyone was doing it. Everyone just kind of
I was playing it then.
Yeah. But now it's like active, but with a sense of purpose, if you know what I mean. Like everyone.
So okay, does Niantic still do it?
Yeah, they do everything with that game.
That's crazy because I remember when it first launched, they were super lazy about doing anything.
It's a lot better now. I mean, it's still in the ends. People play Pokemon Go because it's like a collecting game. You collect your stuff, you get your shinies, you go outside, and it's a little reminiscent to me of the speedrunning community in a way that everyone kind of knows each other. It's 100% collaborative Pokemon Go. There is PvP, but no one gives a shit about Pokemon Go PvP. It's really collaborative in the same way of speedrunning, where like you kind of help each other out, do the raids, find stuff. I don't know. It just kind of brought back the speedrunning endorphins for me. Pokemon Go.
Would you say it's more like speedrun routing versus maybe competing?
Yeah. There's no competition side of it. Speedrun, that's what got me, is the collaboration of it and just meeting new people and stuff.
Did Pokemon Go have you retire from speedrunning? Is that why?
I mean, I technically started playing Pokemon Go directly after the last time I ever speedran, so I guess
it seems like this is a good transition into Kwan's.
Yeah,
I guess that I think one thing that we should start like as a motif, because we've done it for everyone so far. Let's go through Kwan's gaming resume.
Yeah, what's your gaming resume, Kwan?
I don't really have.
Yeah, what do you got? You got Pokemon.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you've probably never heard of me, but if you kind of know Sunshine, you might have heard of me once. That's about it.
For a decent introduction to who Kwan is, Kwaniza is the man he was featured on the, we have to mention once an episode, the 80% world record history video.
Quota, yes.
And he was a friend of Calf, also a quota.
Yeah, that part was bullshit.
Oh yeah, or rather not an 80% history video.
Oh yeah, that too.
No, he was,
because I left him off that one list.
He put Kefalon twice on the list of good people.
Yeah,
instead
that's
of
what happens when you don't get stuff peer reviewed. You know,
good job, Trey.
So Kwaniza was a member of the good people. He ran Super Mario Sunshine for how many years did you?
Too many.
What, 5?
Too many.
Yeah,
I mean, I took a lot of like 4 3-month long breaks, but yeah.
Yeah, the way that you played it, you would sort of come back to it for a month or so, then take another long break, then come back to it again.
Yep.
Which honestly is a smart way to do it, because especially for 80%, it's so easy to get burnt out.
Yep.
So I can't blame you.
But as of this moment, Kwaniza is retired. Has announced his retirement after beating the snot out of J. Cool at the SGDQ race.
I mean, had to go out like that, right?
He ended on a high note with that victory and was like, I'm out.
I mean, to be fair, my retirement declaration was kind of troll, but it's a little. If you read the pace spin, I mean, the pace spin was like 10 words.
Oh, the very in-depth pace spin, yeah.
But
what did it say again?
It just said, I'm too old for
like,
this
here's
shit.
my pace spin, I'm retiring.
I said,
oh, wait, sorry, repeat it again. I might have said something.
No, my pace spin was like, I'm too old for this shit, and this shit is whack anyways. And that's why I retired from speedrunning. Yeah, no, I don't know. I have no desire to speedrun anymore, even though it was kind of epic when I actually did speedrun.
You gotta play it for the love of the game.
And I was a god tier lockout bingo player. One of the best, probably top 2. Me and
what?
When it comes
Dude,
to
you and JJ were
lockout.
strong, but remember that one time me and Sid beat you?
Oh yeah, but we almost won though. Remember, I had to route for 2 people.
We didn't rush Penna, and then we won.
Remember, I had to route. I had to route for 2 people the whole time. I'm not good at that,
dude. All right, that's fair. I don't know.
This is a good moment to mention an upcoming tournament, actually.
Oh yeah,
so the Sunshine community is actually putting together, I guess, the 3rd ever official 2v2 lockout bingo tournament.
Wait, really?
Trey and I did commentary for the showcase race actually earlier today as we record. This will be airing on Tuesday, so it'll be like 4 days ago.
Yeah, this is a Saturday.
Yeah.
And basically that tournament is going to be happening What day in like mid-January sometime?
January 20th. It's supposed to start on twitch.tv/speedgaming. I don't know. We don't know anything about teams or anything. There's signups up until the end of the year.
Yep, signups have just opened up, and Sid and I are considering signing up. We're not entirely sure yet. We'll definitely commentate.
We're thinking about it. We're thinking about it.
We're going to commentate some matches
commentate.
for sure, but we're thinking about signing up. We'll see how we feel closer to the end of the year.
Is it going to be like you pick like the best 12, or is it going to be like open invite? Everyone plays in the tournament.
I think this one's open invite.
God,
yeah, I think so.
Goddamn.
It's really sick though. This is my. I said this in the commentary of the showcase match today, but this is personally my favorite format for an SMS tournament because the team aspect makes it so, like just way more hype, for not only the viewers but the competitors. It seems like there's more at stake, and like the routing in multiple person bingo versus just 1v1. It's a lot less clear cut who has the advantage a lot of the time, and it just opens up so much more routing potential and snipe potential and all kinds of stuff.
And 2v2 bingo is what Kwaniza is partially known for, coming second in the first ever 2v2 lockout tournament.
Yep.
In 2014.
Yeah,
2014.
Me and my teammate got cheesed. We only lost because of some BS, but yeah.
Teammate R2 powered.
I can't speak his name.
And the winners of that tournament were me and Calf. That was one of the highlights of my life, gotta tell you.
Dude, Calf. I wonder if Calf's gonna participate this time around. He has to, right? He's a 2-time champion.
He might go for the 3-peat.
Hey,
We'll see.
Hey, watch out! I might team with Calf. Watch out!
Oh shit!
That'd be dope.
He'd be unbeatable.
That'd be dope.
We would, but that wouldn't be fair. The two best lockout players ever on the same team.
Yeah, you couldn't do that.
Come
Let's
on,
not get
bro.
crazy.
Yeah, he's the best, and you're the second best.
Yeah.
And then in the previous tournament, we learned that I was just getting carried by Calf. So.
Yeah, because I carried you.
Yeah, I always get carried.
So to get back to Kwan, like that all out of the way, we showcase races happened today, 2 of them.
Yeah, check it out. It's a cool format. Anyways, moving back to Kwan.
That's starting in January. There's probably going to be other things on twitch.tv/Sunshine Community if you want to follow that channel.
It's a good channel.
More showcase races until then, probably. But yeah, Kwan, we were talking about your gaming resume. What if you were to write up a resume? I asked this for Kwan, and I asked it for Kwan. See, I made the same mistake, but Calf. I asked the same to Calf, and I asked the same to Emo. If you were to write up a resume of all your achievements in gaming, what would be on that resume?
Number 1, at Trials HD for the Xbox 360. I got top 50 in this little ball game. That would be number 1.
Oh, like one of the mini games in Trials.
Yeah, one of the little mini games. There was this one with like this ball. You had to like kind of move it around the course, and I got top 50.
Oh wait, which Trials was this?
HD, it's one for the 360.
Oh, that was like the first one, right?
Yeah, that game was so good. That was my.
Dude, I played Evolution a shitload. It's so fun.
Evolution was pretty good. Trials HD, I think, was the birth of my speedrunning ways. 'Cause that's the first time I ever really like did time trials and anything.
Dude, I totally forgot about Trials. Those games were so good. I should play those again on it. Like they were fun.
Trials HD was dope.
Getting all the platinum medals on each track.
But yeah, my resume, I don't know, bro. Oh, go ahead, Sid.
I thought they were meh. I don't know. I just wanted to inject my opinion of Trials. I thought they were meh.
Opinion.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I was gonna say there was a little bit of dead air. I was gonna throw it in there, and then you were just like, my gaming resume. I don't know. Trey or Sid, you were gonna say something.
My resume is just I play Pokemon. That's it. I don't know. I was a speedrunner.
Well, okay.
I was top 10 in SMS 80% once when
there you go.
EYG was found. Right.
What about 120 chance?
I had 120. I was like top 10 for years just because no one played that.
No one played it for a while.
No one played that garbage category.
Dude, Kenny Cola was top 10.
It's true.
Am I going to be the Kwaniza of 96 Shines one day? Like nobody played that category, so
probably
he was top.
Except you actually.
Well, you actually had world record though.
Yeah. You're the best. You were the best.
I was the best for an accumulation of probably a week and a half.
I'm the only one in this call who was never the best at anything in Sunshine ever.
That's
not true.
moment.
You were the best in PV2 Lockout Bingo, debatably.
No, okay.
No, you were the best in the race of SGDQ 2019.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks, Trey.
You're welcome. I'm looking out for you.
Hey, I brought it up too. At some point.
Well, like I've always personally thought you were a super solid player for how little you seemed to play. You just sort of came back every now and then, and you were still, especially like in races, you were super consistent all the time.
Yeah, I draw that up to, I think I have really good practice work ethic, and
dude,
go ahead.
Go for it.
No.
Dude, practice. I know.
Dude, so practice is important. Practice is the most important thing, because practice will still make you a solid speedrunner before like just having gamer genes would, like just being a pure gamer. I think I have bad. I don't have great gamer genes anymore. At least I used to be good at Call of Duty when I was like 13. But
I've never had gamer genes. I have to like work for whatever I do.
Yeah, all my gamer genes left. I still have some that's reserved for melee. I'm pretty decent at melee, but that's where all my gamer genes goes to, is just melee.
Oh yeah. As far as your resume, what have you accomplished in melee? You're pretty darn good at melee.
I mean, I'm in NorCal, so I'm not gonna win any locals here or anything. I don't play that much. I got
your Pichu 3-stocked me.
That's a pretty big feat. I got 4th at the last SGDQ tournament. That was like my best placing, I guess, ever at a tournament with more than 10 people.
And you have a shouldn't your most notable accomplishment be that combo King got you showing up in all those Smash compilations?
Let's talk about that. I hate that combo so much.
It's so good.
And the funny thing is, I didn't even think it would be that crazy when he did it to me. I was just like, oh shit, I just lost to Ken. Haha, good job, Ken. You're better than me. And then all of a sudden, it's like all over Reddit and shit. And I'm like, oh no.
GR Smash.
Yeah, and it's on every... Because Ken's like the little fan favorite. They always make like top 10 Ken combos, like one video of that a year, and I'm always in it. And it pisses me off.
Look at Ken, King of Smash, top 10.
There's a Smasher that periodically shows up on streams during tournaments named Kwan. Did you go as Kwaniza? Or... Because I know there's another guy with a different tag.
Yeah, Kwan, he's a NorCal Falcon. I don't think he plays anymore, but he's actually really good at the game.
So, what did you sign up as?
I was always
when you went to a tournament?
I was never Kwan.
Okay.
Wait, there was a second Kwan who also was from NorCal and played... Oh, Falcon, sorry.
Yeah.
You played Falco, I believe.
He's an old school player. I think he's been playing Melee since like mid-2000s or something. But yeah, I'm the second Kwan in NorCal, really. It's kind of sad.
So when did you start playing Melee? Was it after the documentary?
Pretty much. I mean, I went to like... I never was like a local fiend. I never grinded with people. I just kind of practiced tech skill on my own. Played net play sometimes. But yeah, I kind of...
See, there was a period in my life, I think like maybe in... God, I don't know, 2016 or something, when I wanted to seriously get into Melee, but practicing tech skill, I got bored of it so fast. I just didn't find it fun at all.
I used to enjoy grinding tech skill. Now that I'm at a certain point with tech skill, it is boring again. But that was one thing I did enjoy about Melee, was being a spacey and spamming tech skill.
Was there a speedrun part of your brain that really enjoyed the tech skill practice?
Yes, that's probably... That goes into my practice ethics in Sunshine, is that I just liked practicing things until I got like really consistent and perfect at it.
I think you just abused... I feel like this is so true. There are some people that just abuse beginner's luck, where they just like leave and come, like leave after 2 months, come back, have an epic run, leave for 2 months, come back, have an epic run, leave. Like, the abuse of beginner's luck is a real thing, I swear.
When something happens, like, there's something weird about coming back after a long time. I don't know if, like, the meta advances or something, but there's just something it just makes it so much easier to speed.
I think that when you're not playing the game for a while, like, when you take a break from the game, you're sort of... You're leaking muscle memory you've developed through grinding over a period of time.
You're leaking.
And yeah, you're leaking your muscle memory out all over the place. And by the time you come back, when you're like trying to re-practice, re-get into like D-Rust and all that stuff, you're really focusing on getting everything right with like current knowledge and stuff. So you sort of just like remove bad habits you picked up on through a lot of grinding at some point, and you come back with a fresher mind on how to do things, I guess. Yeah,
and what you just said actually kind of made me think so. Maybe like you lose some muscle memory and stuff. and when you come back, you kind of remolds the muscle memory, but like in better, more optimal. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping that if I come back to Double Dash at some point, which might happen, not at the moment, but I might regain that fire to play that game.
Yeah.
That maybe I can actually get mini turbos more consistently and remove my shitty muscle memory for dropping them all the time. Yeah, that's my hope, but we'll see.
I've never gotten a great time in Sunshine, like for the time, because I'm always just like, okay, I'm gonna grind. I get a good PB, like a big PB from where I was before. I go from being a scrub to a decent player. And then when I'm at decent, I'm like, okay, now's the time. I can easily get this PB. And then boom, I just what do you call it? I just get burned out right there. And that's why I never like go ham trying to get like really good times, because I just can't beat the burnout, man. It just gets me.
Yeah, I was going pretty ham on the 114 grind about a month ago, and I don't know. I was not. I just felt dead inside in those streams. I was like, I don't want to be doing this, so I got to take a break from that.
I did the same thing earlier this year, where it was a month and a half straight of 96 shines every single day, got the record, and then I was done. Like, I was so done, but I tried to keep going, and the next day Nanashi got the record, and I tried to keep going. I'm like, nope, I'm done.
I think part of it for me was the coolness of Auto Splitter sort of wore off. Because that's actually, funnily enough, the main reason I came back to 80% in the first place back in April was TOEFL released Auto Splitter, which was like, oh dude, this is so dope, I gotta try it out. And after I did a couple runs with it, I was like, man, I should actually grind this game again. And I thought like, oh yeah, auto splitter, I don't have to split, it's so nice. But now I just sort of take it for granted, and it's not cool anymore, so. Dude,
pressing a button is so good though. I like pressing buttons.
I mean, I like being able to not worry about it and also have accurate splits, but that's just me.
I'm fine with being 100th off.
Yeah, I mean, if you do that, that's cool by me, but I'm gonna do me, you know?
Auto splitter's lame.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I won't rage too hard.
Thank you.
It's only fair when Kwan says it. When I say it.
See, Sid's a hack, but Kwan, I can respect it.
But yeah, the most interesting thing about speedrunning to me is that I think anyone can get good at it. That's why it's like pretty, I don't know, somewhat popular. It's because I think anyone can get good at speedrunning. It doesn't matter if you're terrible at video games. All you gotta do is practice. If you have good practice,
probably got to put in different levels of effort and like different amounts of practice, but like theoretically, if the people with lesser gamer genes just put in more time, they can get to that level.
Mm-hmm.
I went on a huge rant about this like earlier this week when I did my 96 shine run earlier this week. I feel like there's 4 things that go into that. It's like what did I say? It was the basic knowledge of gaming. Like anybody with these 4 things can get good at speedrunning. A basic knowledge of gaming, motivation, determination, and the willingness to learn. All 4 of those things. Like, it's a very short list, and if you have all 4 things, they seem pretty simple. But if you don't have those 4 things and you consciously want to try to get all 4 things, they're not the easiest thing to get. So I get the idea that anybody can get it or anybody can do it, but like the basic. I don't know what did I say? The gaming basics are really hard to learn later in life, kind of a thing. Where it's just like, if you're a 20-year-old and you've never played a video game, or a 25-year-old and you've never played a video game, it's going to be very hard to get the basics down. But since I'm going to lump Kwan in here. I don't know how long we can probably get into Kwan's gaming history. I don't usually start with the resume. Trey started with the resume, but
as long as we get to it at some point.
I'm just blaming Trey. But we all have been playing games since a very young age. So once you learn the basics of gaming and have eventually the willingness to learn, and then the motivation, the determination to get good at specific video games, then definitely. But those 4 things are definitely hard to get at a later point. They seem easy to some people.
I mean, it definitely helps. I pretty much only speedrun games I played growing up, or like my childhood favorite games, because I already have that attachment to them.
Yeah.
Like Sunshine, I already played it like a shitload as a kid, so I already knew like the basics of the mechanics before even picking it up to speedrun. So
one weird pet peeve I have, I don't know why, I just hate it when people are like when they speedrun, when they see a new game and they're like hyped to speedrun it. I'm just like,
yeah, I don't understand that either.
I'm just like, bro, you don't even know if you like the game or not yet. I don't.
Bro, I'm definitely running this.
I don't like it. I hate day one speedruns, like blind speedrun shit. It's like you gotta enjoy.
We talked
game.
about that with Emo and Luigi's Mansion 3 a lot. Just like everybody. See, I think the thing that we ended up deciding on is it just feels gross because the first run is going to end up being a speedrunning.
Yeah, the problem with it is that you can only ever do one first playthrough of a game. And if you ruin it with just trying to rush through it, like you're not getting the full game experience.
And you're playing the game like as if it's a speedrun and not as if it's a game like the developer
And what's
intended.
the point if it's going to be shitty anyways because you don't know what you're doing?
There was one tweet that really pissed me off once. I think it was Tones actually. Tones, when Splatoon 2 came out, someone tweeted something like, "Oh my god, Splatoon 2 is so fun. It looks like it might be a cool speedrun too." Like day 2 of the game coming out or something. And then Tones replied like, "Hey, except Nintendo put in this random auto-scroller part that makes this part awful. The game sucks." Or something like that. Something to that degree. And that just made me rage so much. It's like, it's not just all about the fucking speedrun and how they designed the game around speedrunning.
Oh, this game is so good, but they put this auto-scroller in here. Oh.
Dude.
I love Tones, but that one, I think it was Tones. I'm not sure, but I think I replied to it.
He is a pretty avid Splatooner. It's probably him.
Yeah, I replied to it like raging.
Shout out to Tones though.
I don't know, but yeah, it was just stuff like that pisses me off. I don't know why. People have their taste and how they want to do it. I shouldn't. I'm not gonna say you're wrong for that. But just me, I can't fathom it. I don't understand it.
People can play games however they want. You know, if you want to play through the game quickly, if you want to, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah.
It just seems kind of lame. I don't know.
There is something to be said though. You say this. He complained about this auto scroller. There is something to be said. I've been playing through Death Stranding lately. I think I have like 20 hours in it at this point, and I have no idea how far I am in it. But I don't feel far at all. There are parts of me that think during initial playthroughs of games about the speed run. Like what potentially would be the speed run. I think at this point Death Stranding would be a horrible speed run.
Really?
But considering it's, but maybe you can skip every cutscene. I don't know. There's so many cutscenes.
But like you already know that there's going to be a speedrun scene for it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's inevitable.
Well, like there's probably a speedrun out there right now, and there's probably like a little bit of a swirl about it, but that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
But after becoming a speedrun and playing Super Mario Sunshine for however long I've played, I do think about the speedrun sides of things. But like going into a game being like, I'm going to speedrun it, I'm going to love it, this is going to be really fun. Like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
It seems kind of disingenuous. It's just like, yeah, okay, I'm doing this because, you know, it's good stream content, but I'm not necessarily super passionate about it, so.
Yeah, and I feel like it's mostly just speedrun streamers who tweet this type of stuff and say stuff like that. So yeah, I hate speedrun streamers.
That being said, I did watch all of Worcester's Pokemon Sword and Shield speedrun and didn't think anything of it. Like if I watched somebody speedrun Luigi's Mansion 3 as their first playthrough, I'd be like, gross. But like the Pokemon, I'm like, fine. I guess.
I'm impartial to Worcester. I'll never say anything bad about Worcester, so he's fine.
I love Worcester. That's all I want to say. So what are your thoughts on Death Stranding 20 hours into it?
I think it's really boring fun. That is the simplest way I can say it. I understand why people would dislike it. But like I've said in previous podcasts, there's a little bit of Farmville in everyone, and I feel like this is and I knew going into this game there was going to be a lot of busy work that does not seem fun. The story is really cool. The world is very interesting. The fact that when you go, it's like a partial online game. So when you connect the new area to the network that you're trying to build, trying not to spoil a lot of the story for people that haven't gotten to parts where I've gotten, but like you're trying to connect America, essentially. You find that out within like 2 hours of the game. And 2 hours is not a long time. In Luigi's Mansion 3, that would be a long time, but in Death Stranding, it's not. Once you connect certain areas to the network, the area is populated with structures that were built by other players that are, I think, on your server. So once you connect it, there's like bridges that are built, and I love building bridges, and there's like vehicle generators, and there's like rain shelters and things that weren't there before, and it's really cool in that way. But delivering packages is the most busy but like oddly satisfying thing I've done in gaming in a while, and I don't understand how this game was made, but at the same time I really appreciate that this game was made. And I can see myself pouring so much time. Like, I can't even describe how much time I can pour into this game. Just like, oh, I'm here at this place, here's a new order, I'm gonna go back, like I'm gonna backtrack however many kilometers in order to deliver here, but on the way I'm going to deliver here and here because I got orders from this place to go over there. It's just like there's so much like weird management to the stacking of your boxes on Norman Reedus's back. And
so I have a question.
It's so oddly satisfying.
Oh, so the game, I've never actually seen like someone play the game.
Yeah.
So the gameplay is just like delivering stuff while trying to like dodge the death guys or whatever.
The death guys aren't even around all that well to where I am. I'm pretty much doing a lot of busy work pretty much at the first open world area essentially, and I've been there for a good 10 hours probably, but I haven't done a lot of story stuff. But there aren't a lot of the BTs around. That's what they're called. But maybe later they end up being more pervasive. That's my one complaint. It's just like eventually they become too easy. And I'm on hard difficulty. The gameplay is mostly at the start you're basically trying to just control Norman Reedus essentially. You're just trying to get like keep him balanced and stuff like that. Eventually there's things that make it easier to carry more packages and stuff, but at the start it's like lean this way in order to maintain your balance because the shit on your back is going right, and then just like hold this way so that you hold your balance because you're falling the other way, and it's just like stop and you're sliding. And the mechanics of the movement at the start of the game is very, very wonky, but you get it. Like I feel like watching a speedrunner play it would be oddly satisfying, or like if you get good at the game, it is. And I was pretty good at the game right away because I had seen a few people play it, and so I understood like, whoa, I'm falling right, I have to hold R, and the button prompts come on your screen. It's like movement. It's like basic movement is kind of a QuickTime event, but it's not really a QuickTime event. It's the same buttons every time, but you have to hold those buttons or you'll fall over and slide. And then like potentially your cargo can get damaged, and in certain areas or during certain missions or certain deliveries, I guess. Dude, this game sounds so nerdy.
Oh, dude, it sounds awesome. Who knew being a delivery man could be so fun?
Like if a package gets damaged too much, sometimes Die Hardman comes over the comms just like, it's been damaged to mission's over, and it goes game over, and you're just like, aw. But the world surrounding it is so cool, but it's very, very busy fun. Very busy fun. Like people that don't like, I don't even know what to call them.
People who skip cutscenes probably hate this game.
Yeah.
People who like race file would not like this game.
This game is a lot of just like traveling. Just Norman Reedus walking is a lot of this game.
Would you say?
Or like trying to navigate certain obstacles, like within the environment, not even like planned obstacles, just they designed an environment just like, should I put a ladder here or should I find a way around? Or maybe an online person put a stake at the top, or, oh, I put a stake there before, I'm going to grab this rope and pull it. Like there's a lot of that.
So how much of the online interaction is there? Are you finding stuff people put there like all the time, or is it kind of sparse? Yeah. Well,
nowadays, I'm assuming at the start there wasn't very much, but there's like, it's not a lot. See, what people were thinking is that it was all connected, and it's just like, oh, this is going to be all filled up. I think it's like really small servers, so you're on a server of like maybe 20 people playing the game, and probably more than that, but There's like a limit to how many buildings that can be built in a certain area.
Can you
and
still
shit like, that.
like play the game in offline mode and make the game harder for yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
To be fair, I haven't done that yet, so I don't know.
I don't know why you do that, but I'm just wondering if you can.
I don't, because I think offline would be a very interesting speedrun. Like, I think this game, like from a speedrun perspective, considering we're like a pseudo speedrun podcast, but we're actually a speedrun podcast. I think this would be a very interesting speedrun. I don't know if anybody would want to do it, but
if you could skip the cutscenes, maybe it would be not too terribly long.
But just like where you would put things, just like if you would build structures, what would you build, and where would be kind of interesting to kind of route. But I haven't played most of the game, so I have no idea. But yeah, that's kind of my impression of playing 20 hours of. I've almost doubled my time in of Luigi's Mansion 3 in Death Stranding, and I'm having very, very busy fun.
So would you say the gameplay is stressful and like taxing, or is it more chill and like kind of like just busy work?
Seems
like
pretty chill.
Eventually, it's very chill.
Okay, at the start, I like that in games.
Like, pardon?
I could play a game like that has like a good story but like chill gameplay for like hours.
Yeah,
I think I would really like Death Stranding.
But periodically, sometimes it's like it's chill sometimes, but then other times you're just like, how the fuck how am I gonna get all of these packages to over this hill? Like literally.
Yeah, these are the questions that UPS drivers around America go through every day.
I spent like 20 minutes or like maybe a half an hour today trying to like figure out literally how to get a truck up a part of a mountain. Like literally just.
I've actually seen vehicles in the game, so you're required to use them at times?
No, you're not required. They exist.
Do they help
and you
significantly
can.
Though?
Yes. Dude, it's so much easier. If you have a truck and you have, what's funny is the truck is sometimes the amount of weight that you can hold with a truck for your UPS deliveries is like not enough sometimes for the deliveries you want to make. So instead you go with like, I had to like leave my truck and use different mode of not transportation, but just like little carriers that you can have with you later on in the game. And it took so much longer, but I could hold more than a truck. But having a truck is it's so fast. You can boost. They get the battery gets charged by the generators lying everywhere. It's just and if there's roads built, perfect. But like trucks can't go everywhere. Bikes can't go everywhere. The easiest way to get around is Norman Reedus just kind of like walking. It's I don't know. This game is so interesting, but like it's horrible, but it's great.
That's why it's so that's why it's like Pokemon. It's the same exact as Pokemon. It's so controversial because a small minority hates it, so they're gonna bash.
Yeah, but this game's beautiful.
Okay,
this game's beautiful. Have you seen the facial animations in Death Stranding?
What do you guys think about Kojima saying like, "Oh, American people are reviewing it low because they like shooters"?
You know, it is a little bit.
Dude, there are shooter aspects.
I mean, I think he's not entirely wrong with that statement, but I don't know.
Did you guys hear about the controversy with Famitsu in that game?
No.
So the CEO or something of Famitsu is in Death Stranding. He's in the game as like a character. And Famitsu gave the game like a perfect score, 10 out of 10. They've only given like 40 games a 10 out of 10. And people are upset that they didn't like include the fact that that guy was in the game in their review. So they were like impartial or anything. And there's a whole nother controversy about that, and now he's friends with Kojima, and they only gave it a 40 or a 10 because he's. I mean,
we all already know that game review scores are bullshit anyway, so it's like whatever.
Dude, not IGN America. They gave it a 6.8.
Dude, I'm so sick of news stories about numbers given after a review. Like,
numbers don't mean shit. Like
Pokemon, there was a news story about the 9.3 that was given to Pokemon. and it's just like, oh, it's way too high, and everybody's mad at it because it's too high. And then they gave Death Stranding a 6.8, and everybody's mad at them that they gave it a 6.8. It's like everybody's mad if it's not like a 7.5, or if it's just an 8, everybody would shut the fuck up.
Dude, the score exists purely to create outrage and give them more publicity and just to win.
By the stupid people.
I would not
stupid
know.
People are the one who rage, because these people don't understand that the people reviewing, it's just one person reviewing the game. It's one opinion. And yes, they will definitely, if say a reviewer reviewed Red Dead 2 a 6, up top at IGN be like, no, we're putting someone else on this game. But still, like, it's still one person. It's not all of IGN or something like coming together.
Like Metacritic is slightly better because it's multiple review sites put together, but even then the numbers just kind of dumb, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, there are very, I've heard this opinion many times, but I feel numbers are so, like I understand you have to summarize it with a ranking or an out of 10 or a rating, but the only thing that a lot of people see is that, but you have to read the whole review. I don't know how, like, I don't know how I would give a number to Death Stranding. Like, it's so specific.
Yeah, numbers are bad.
A lot of people, I understand, would dislike it, but I love it.
Would you rate it in the sense, like, of not thinking of how you think others would perceive it, but how you personally perceive it?
Could I? I don't know.
Personally, I give it a 9 because, like, I love this kind of shit. I love Farmville.
I can't give it a number. I literally cannot give it a number. It's so weird. It's such a weird game. But I don't know. Dead Space 2 is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, numbers are so bad because what do? Do you look at it objectively or subjectively? And if you try to look at it objectively, it's still subjective. So, like, well, I don't get it. The number thing is just bad.
This is my opinion. Sword and Shield is the best ever Pokemon game. I've played all of them. That's the.
I mean, the numbers have to exist, but you just have to pretend they don't matter.
I know.
Which nobody will. None of the dumb people will, at least.
Yeah. I mean, the dumb people on Twitter will take it as gospel, but, like, that's just them. So,
after my 20 hours of Death Stranding, I'll give it an 8.5.
Beautiful.
I give it an A out of 10.
Dude, it's nuts. Like, how good the facial animations are in that game. It's actually crazy. Like, when you think back to LA Noire and all those games that are celebrated for their animation, but you're still looking at them like, this is the Uncanny Valley. There's no feeling of Uncanny Valley during any of the cutscenes for Death Stranding. They all look so good. Maybe one of the women's teeth is very weird, but specifically otherwise, it's fine.
I'm assuming they use the same mocap technology for all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty cool.
It has good graphics, so I'd give it a 10 out of 10. Honestly,
it looks amazing, but I don't even love it for the way it looks amazing.
So the animations look better than Pokemon?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Debatable.
The trees look way better.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess one more thing about Death Stranding I wanted to ask. Building bridges, better in Death Stranding or better in Minecraft?
Minecraft.
Damn.
There you go.
You don't have any customizable. There's no customize. You can make them big, like, longer, but other than that, you can't like make a
bigger bridge. No.
You can't make it. You can't make it at a bridge. You can't make it in the Nether. You know.
Did you say you can't make it out of bridge?
You can't make it out of birch.
Oh,
did I say out of bridge?
I was like, you make your bridge out of bridge.
I meant out of birch. Very similar words, but
you do love your birch bridges, yeah.
I do love my single birch bridge that I made that one time, and then we quit the game forever.
Well, we always quit the game forever and then come back to it. It's funny.
Mm-hmm. I don't even think we built a bridge this past time around.
We almost did.
We almost built a bridge.
Thought about it.
Yep.
Yep.
So I guess one obvious question we didn't ask yet to tie in Kwaniza, like, how did you initially pick up Mario Sunshine in the first place?
Well, before that,
what's poppin'?
I want to ask just like the first question that we asked everybody: how did you get into gaming?
Oh, there you
just
go.
Like what did you play as a kid?
I'm just a natural
like to
born
get back
gamer.
to the Kwan portion of the podcast.
I got into, I guess, Game Boy. Not even color. I got into gaming with a Game Boy. My mom had a Game Boy with Tetris, Super Mario Land. Is that it? Super Mario Land. and
I don't know.
This weird like castle game where you like run up a castle endlessly.
Oh,
it was pretty bad.
Castlevania.
I wish. That's how it started. No. And then like I went to a daycare before I was 5. They had a Nintendo 64. That's where I played like Zelda, Ocarina of Time.
Your daycare had Ocarina of Time?
Yeah, my daycare was lit.
Dude, that's badass.
I played Ocarina. I thought Ocarina of Time was the most insane thing ever. The thing that like I think hooked me on Ocarina of Time is like it looks so insane, but I wasn't good enough at games to like do anything. So it was just like this thing that I couldn't achieve. I couldn't like go to the next part of this world in Ocarina of Time because I wasn't good enough, and it just made my imagination run wild. And then
yeah, as a little kid playing Ocarina of Time, I went through the same thing where I was so terrible at progressing that it felt like this landmark accomplishment whenever I did anything.
Yeah. So yeah, it's that, and then I guess Game Boy Advance. I don't know if I honestly don't know if I got a Game Boy Color or a Game Boy Advance first. I can't remember. But I don't know. I played a lot of Pokemon growing up. A lot of Gen 3, Gen 2, and then a lot of Gen 4. And then I don't know. I was a GameCube kid until I was like 13 because my mom wouldn't let me get a PlayStation or Xbox.
Too adult.
Yep, too adult. But then when I played like, I don't know, all the basic GameCube games, I guess. Sunshine, Animal Crossing. Nope,
Luigi's
Mansion.
No Luigi's. I still have not played the original Luigi's Mansion.
Oh,
it's better than 3.
I might play.
I love 1 as a classic.
Thing, I've actually played. I've played Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS. That one, Dark Moon. I played that one, but not 3 or 1 yet. And I actually like Dark Moon. It was alright. But
okay.
Yeah, then I just moved on to like Xbox shouting cuss words on Modern Warfare 2 and all that bullshit. And then, yeah, that's my gaming history, I guess. I don't know.
You were just really good at COD.
Sure. Not when I first started.
Well, that's what you said earlier.
I was when I was. There was like a brief period where I like took Call of Duty kind of seriously. I got good at the end of Modern Warfare 2, and then I didn't really like Black Ops. But then when Modern Warfare 3 came out, I was a beast at Modern Warfare 3. Then after that, I stopped caring.
But you like Modern Warfare 3 more than Black Ops?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I love Black Ops.
For multiplayer. There's other Black Ops obviously had zombies, which was probably the
I guess I'm thinking of zombies.
Zombies is probably the best thing ever about Call of Duty, but
Modern Warfare 3 felt very, very. It just felt wrong. Like
I didn't say I
just
really
never
loved
heard positive things about that game.
I don't know. Modern Warfare 2 was way better, but Modern Warfare 3 was the first time where I was like good at Call of Duty, and I wanted to like I was into it hella, and I just like played a lot. Mm-hmm. That's when I was good. Yeah, that's when I like.
I was more of a Black Ops kid. I love Black Ops 1 and 2. I love those two. My friend. I got into before I even owned an Xbox 360. I played at a friend's house and I played Call of Duty 3 and Modern Warfare and went, oh my god, this is so great. And I didn't get my first Call of Duty was World at War, and it was meh, but I enjoyed it and played a lot of it. And then Black Ops was so like I played Modern Warfare 2 and bought more Modern Warfare 3. I never bought Modern Warfare 2, but Black Ops 1 and 2 were the greatest. And I think I do own Black Ops 3, but I never really got into it. I tried enough.
So you were much more of a Treyarch than an Infinity Ward kind of guy.
Yeah, I was also around the same time. I was listening to a lot of gaming podcasts, and I heard all of the Infinity Ward drama that happened, where they like kicked out. Well, they obviously back in the day kicked out the CEO or the lead, a couple of the leads that ended up becoming Respawn, and the drama around that. So I wasn't really a big fan of Infinity Ward after all those news stories came out. I was in the know.
In the know.
But yeah, I back in the day I did really enjoy my Call of Duties and stuff like that. I wasn't into
Modern Warfare 2 is probably on my top 10 greatest games ever list.
Modern Warfare 2 is so good.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
But I think that the best campaign was in COD 4.
Nah.
That might be nostalgia talking to me, but I think it was really solid.
Modern Warfare 2 is the thing about that's fucking airport scene. There's something about it when you like.
No Russian. No Russian
something
was
about
Modern Warfare
that
2.
mission that's like ingrained.
Oh yeah, that's
into your brain.
iconic
It's
for
so
sure.
weird because you didn't really.
Did you shoot?
I shot, hell yeah, because I didn't really think.
Oh, you shot
I was
people?
like 12. I didn't think much about it. I was just like, I'm killing all these people.
I didn't think much of it either at the time, but then like I heard about controversy about it later. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
okay,
also
I guess it's kind of dark.
For a gaming standpoint, I thought that if you didn't shoot them, they would catch on that you're not a part of them or something. So then I tried to fit in and kill people.
I genuinely don't remember if I shot or not. I think I did. I don't.
I think I didn't give a
remember.
fuck.
Or maybe I just didn't even know what was going on, honestly, and I just shot for whatever. But oh well, who knows?
Like, oh, the rest of the missions I shoot people. Why wouldn't I not?
Why would I not shoot people in this
Why would
one?
I not shoot people here?
I remember being kind of confused going into that mission and then leaving that mission, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I ended up finishing the campaigns of. Like, I finished Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2 at a buddy's house. But Black Ops 1, I don't think I ended up finishing. And Black Ops 2, I don't think I ever did. Like, I just played them for the multiplayer.
You want to know?
I definitely played a lot more Spec Ops than campaign
Spec Ops
stuff
was crazy.
in MW2.
Spec Ops Modern Warfare 2 was so good.
Yeah, I love doing co-op Spec Ops in that game.
Spec Ops was sick. But low key, the campaign I've had the most fun with in Call of Duty was Advanced Warfare for the PS4. The one with Kevin Spacey.
I own that one. I own that one for Xbox One.
That game was sick.
Played like 2 minutes of it.
That campaign was sick because Kevin Spacey was in it before he became a child.
Weirdo.
I don't know. I don't want to get into that.
Weirdo.
Sure.
I'll go with weirdo. I'm not comfortable saying anything other than that. Some would say pedophile, but nobody knows for sure.
Well, spoiler alert: Kevin Spacey was the bad guy all along in that campaign, so it makes sense, I guess.
For the record, for people that think that I'm a fake Call of Duty player because I didn't go through the campaigns of Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2, I think I did play bits of Black Ops 2, but I did go through Veteran on World at War, and anybody listening to my words that played that difficulty of World at War knows how hard that is and how bullshit that is and how impressive that is.
Oh, Veteran is bullshit. Especially when there's infinitely respawning enemies at certain points.
Yeah, I remember trying that and like giving up in the first mission, I think.
Dude, you just get like anybody you watch play that, it's just infinite grenades throwing at you, and then you have to just kind of like risk going to the blockade and just going prone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how you beat that fucking game. What a bullshit goddamn difficulty. Holy crap.
That pretty much covers your intro to gaming.
Sure.
So what inspired you to pick up speedrunning when you did, though?
You know what did? Pokemon. Pokemon, in the end, led me to speedrunning. You know how?
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
How's that?
I think YouTube or something. Somewhere I picked up that there was going to be a Pokemon Worlds Championship stream on some website called Twitch. And I was like, what the fuck? The hell is this shit? So I go in and I like follow the Pokemon. I make an account and I follow the Pokemon, whatever, their channel. And I look on the front page. Guess who's on the front page? Mofat. No, Mofat.
Oh, dude, I remember Mofat.
What?
Oh, Mofat.
Now Mo Katie.
Yeah, what was his channel's name though? Or her channel's
Zodiac
name?
Mofat.
Zodiac
Smash.
Smash, yeah. Zodiac Smash YouTube at the time. Now it's Mokate or Zodiac Mokate.
Yeah, he was she now was a huge Twilight Princess speedrunner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like hooked on watching specifically Mofat at the time play speedrun that game. And I only watched him. I didn't watch any other speedrunners for like maybe the first month or so I've used Twitch. I would even like sometimes watch his past broadcasts if I like missed a stream or something.
Yep.
So I would do that. And then like since Samu played TP as well, I think that he led me to Samu doing a Sunshine run. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Then I got to that phase where you look at GDQ runs, right? Everyone has that
phase.
Where you watch GDQ runs. I watched some Zelda stuff. I watched I think someone's maybe Cosmo's 80% run. But I know for sure I watched like all of Runner Guy's 100% run back in like 2014 or something. I watched that, and then I watched Sunshine with Tofu, and I guess that started it. After that, I remember the time where I was just like, thought to myself, well shit, I guess I'm gonna speedrun Sunshine, and then it just all happened there.
I think Tofu's Sunshine run inspired a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yep, me.
That was actually, like, looking back, that's still one of the most hype, maybe the most hyped Sunshine run done in a GDQ.
Yeah, it's probably...
Because the couch was absolutely stacked. You had Trihex, Bonesaw, Golden, and that DayZ guy. It was a super stacked couch, and I don't know, it was incredible. I remember staying up till 5 a.m. to watch that live.
You could maybe consider that being the big bang of the Sunshine community, is that run right there.
There was that, then there was the second wave when GBS was found.
True.
And I remember you actually started playing Sunshine right before that was found, and you're like, oh, I guess this is a thing now. Okay.
Oh yeah, well there's a story about that. I started speedrunning, like, I guess, when was the trick found exactly? February, January?
It was February 21st, 2014.
Okay, so I started speedrunning, I think, I started learning December-ish, like slowly practicing. Like, I think my practice ethics were even good back then, because I wanted to practice everything before I even did my first run. So I just practiced a bunch of shit in December, practiced in January, I guess. I did some offline runs, no recording, no nothing in January. I think I even went into Tofu's chat and was like, yo, what's up, Tofu? I got like a 136 the other day or something. And then he was like, bro, wait, not 130, maybe 146, because it was before GBS. And he was like, bro, you should just start streaming if you're already like getting that decent of a time. And I'm like, oh shit. So I decided to get a capture card and all that. And then the day I planned out to have my first stream of runs, I get on Twitch and I see some runners, and what do I see? Snarfy Bobo practicing this new trick called GBS. I'm like, what the hell?
That was your first day?
Yes.
That was going to be your first day?
That was my first day of streaming.
What are the chances?
I see Snarfy Bobo like doing this shit. I'm like, I gotta learn this now? I was going to stream like 20 minutes from now. So I did start streaming, but my first stream was not doing runs. It was legit just me doing GBS, like trying to learn it and practicing it. And I got like 20 plus viewers or something because GBS was like hype. I was like,
you picked the best day to start streaming.
So I was like, oh shit, this streaming thing is easy. I'm about to be famous. And then yeah, later that day I did some runs and stuff. And then, I don't know. I think I definitely played the game the most during 2014. I grinded pretty hard. I got to like 125 pretty fast.
Yeah, you got good really fast early on. I was one of your first 10 followers, I believe.
Yeah.
Back when you had that old man Noki profile picture.
And I remember you would come up my chat sometime, like, who the hell is this fuck?
Yeah, I would say those exact words.
Because you would just come in and like say one thing and then leave or something. And I'd be like, average Trey, who's this guy?
Dude, I still do that. I never really watch streams for a super long duration. I was like, come in with something and leave, typically. But
yeah, I was kind of a loner kind of when I first started. Like the first 3 or 4 months, I kind of just did my own thing with Sunshine, just streamed it. Then some people kind of was like, who the fuck is this Kwan guy who's got a 124? No one knows about him, but he's just doing runs at like 4 a.m. his time every night. And then yeah, then I just started meeting people.
You know, before that was the norm.
Yeah.
And then at some point, you started racing a lot with some of people like us, and that became the good people.
I think the first ever, I'm probably wrong, but the first ever like true good person race was me, Sid, and Calf. Do you remember this race, Sid? It was the first time.
If you jog my memory.
It was the first time I've talked to either of you. But yeah, it was this weird race. It was pretty awkward because like we're just awkward gamers. We don't know each other. And yeah, then we just kept the Skype group going.
I'm awkward?
We were all awkward. Yeah, we were all awkward. It was just,
I don't know.
Like an
I definitely was.
Sunshine call.
I think Sid's been exactly the same his whole life, but the rest of us are pretty awkward.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was just awkward to the fact that like we didn't know each other and we're just like playing this fucking game. But
the first time I called with Sid, I was like a little anxious. I was like, I don't know this guy, but I mean, hopefully it's a good race. Yeah,
we had fun.
That was a fun race.
And now we do a podcast.
Good people trivia. Good people trivia. I came up with the good people name, and I didn't even know it.
I still am impartial to Ruse fans.
Because I hated that name. I changed it because I hated that name, but I didn't have a good name to like name the group, so I just said Good People as like a throwaway name. It's like whatever.
Like, what the hell is this? And we just never changed it.
Yeah, we just never changed it from Good People, and that's how we got our name.
But originally, it was there was names like Cool Kids of SMS plus Kenny Cola.
Yeah.
And then USA Kids of SMS plus Sid, and then some other stuff like Ruse Fans.
Wasn't there that one where it was like all of our names combined? Peace Sack
that
or
was
something?
me.
Sack.
It was what was it? I don't remember what it's called.
V-Man was there for a second.
Yeah, V-Man was there.
Oh yeah, Sack. It was just Sack.
It was Sack with a P, because like P for Pyro Shade.
And 3 Ks.
Yeah, Sack with a P and 3 Ks, yeah.
Because we had Kenny Cola, Cathlon, Kwaniza. We had just all of the names. I remember suggesting, I remember where I was when I was just like, we need a new name for this group. I was at my cousin's, or my aunt and uncle's house, like 2 hours north of my place. And I was just like looking at my phone. I was just like, well, what do we need? We need a new name. And then I was suggesting names, and all of them were such garbage. I was thinking back to them. I have no idea what they were. I remember suggesting them.
I remember one being especially terrible. I don't remember what it was though.
Yeah, and then Kwan was just like, yeah, these are all shit. It's just like, I don't know. Try my best.
But yeah, that's where the Good People came from. And now we talk to each other sometimes. Now we're doing a
Very
podcast.
rarely now. We're just chilling.
Yeah, we still have a Skype or a Discord group now, and we hang out. We're still buddies. Like, it's not like we can't join you can't join a podcast call with us and talk and shoot the shit for an hour and a half.
I mean, there's this branch in the Good People of the super degens who play Dota all day.
Yep.
And that branch is still pretty close together. But other than that,
they ruined the Good People.
Dota is the reason for the death of the Good People.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's like
it happens.
We're all at a call, and then they just like start playing Dota, and we're just like,
I guess I'll leave now.
It's like the Mario Kart guys in Apex.
Oh yeah.
It's
well,
like,
Apex, you kind of have to, understand that.
Yeah. And Overwatch, maybe Overwatch part of it.
Dude, I hate Overwatch calls so much.
The games that brought us together also tore us apart.
I hate Overwatch.
I liked Overwatch in 2016, playing it. Haven't played it since.
I like the idea of Overwatch.
Wait, can we talk about Overwatch 2 for a second? So is that a new game? Are you gonna have to buy that game, Sid? Is it not like an add-on of Overwatch?
No, you do not have to play it, or you do not have to buy it in order to play it multiplayer. Overwatch 1 multiplayer will work with Overwatch 2 multiplayer, but and like have the new modes that Overwatch 2 multiplayer will have, but Overwatch 2 will have online story co-op. Right?
And honestly, it just looked like those special event things. It didn't even look like anything crazy.
What? It's supposed to be story. Why are they still using PvP maps from Overwatch 1 for the story missions? Can you explain that?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I think at the same time, I think Overwatch 2 is a valiant effort to like keep, quote, the entire community together, but at the same time it's very ill-advised and sounds like the dumbest thing of all time.
Yeah, I just was watching it and was like, this is just Overwatch 1. This looks like an update. Dude, this looks like a free update I should get in my game right now.
During the cinematic, I got teary-eyed. Like watching the cinematic after playing Overwatch for I don't even think I've put that much time in Overwatch. I think I have like 500 hours in it, and compared to a lot of other games, that's not a lot, but like watching the cinematic with Winston and everybody that shows up, I got teary-eyed. And then when he announced that it's like, oh, it's basically nothing, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like we're basically not making a second game. We're like it's a new. See, the weird thing is, like, I don't know a lot about it, and maybe somebody in the comments below will know more about it. But they're on a new engine with Overwatch 2, but somehow they're going to try to bring everybody on a previous engine over. I don't know how long that's going to last. Like, how do you keep an old engine game playing with a new engine game, and how long can that go for?
So that also means the multiplayer is going to play exactly the same, right? And everything's going to be exactly the same, basically.
Secretly, PyroShade and I were hoping when because every now and then I just threw it out there when we were playing Overwatch, not with Pirate Shade specifically, but with a group of people. I periodically threw it out there, just like, oh, I wonder when Overwatch 2 is going to come out, just like as a random thought.
As a meme.
And this, like a year after the game came out, everybody's just like, nah, they're not going to make an Overwatch 2. And I'm sitting there going like, I think they're going to make an Overwatch 2. The secret hope that Pirate Shade and I had was they would like just streamline the cast to like not Sombra and maybe remove Doomfist, like remove specific characters that kind of break it, and go back to a formula and try to build off of the base. But with Overwatch 2, they're keeping Sombra, and the reason that we hate Sombra, not that Sombra's a bad character or anything like that, anybody listening. The idea of adding a character that's and their ability is to remove abilities from other characters so that they can't essentially stop being able to play the game is the worst idea ever. And that's our one huge complaint about Overwatch.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it.
I would play Overwatch 2 if they removed every character besides Ashe. Because that's the only character I've ever enjoyed playing in that game.
I like Mercy.
Yeah, no, that's pretty lame.
I like Mei.
I know. I just have... See, it's like fucking Death Stranding and all that shit. I like playing Mercy, whatever.
That's fair.
Trey's gay Mei play of the game. Makes a return in Overwatch 2.
Maybe.
We'll see. Actually, I suck. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I totally forgot that Overwatch 2 was a thing. I'm glad you brought that up. We didn't even talk about it last week.
But yeah, there you go.
We're gonna speedrun. I'm gonna try to get Pyro Shade to speedrun co-op Overwatch 2 missions with me.
That sounds really fun.
Great. It sounds horrible, but like maybe it could be fun. Who knows?
God, I can't wait to play mainline story games on freaking.
One kind of like different thing they're doing is you can upgrade your characters and whatnot.
Yeah,
which seems kind of cool.
Weird.
But other than that, it looks pretty much the same, just a different HUD, but the same gameplay.
Listen, I would actually be fine with the game if the maps were just dedicated story maps and not PvP from Overwatch 1.
That is super lazy. Yeah.
I would.
See, what's funny is that there are dedicated story maps in like some of the bot maps and stuff. That you can't play some of those maps as multiplayer. There's like I don't know what event anything is anymore, but there was an event last year, one of the bot maps that I think it was the one after Ashe was released or something like that, and you got to like the end of it was a plane that you had to load onto while you were defending for bots, and it essentially became a tower defense thing. That map isn't in anything. Like it's kind of based on the it's not Paris. What map is it? I haven't played Overwatch in so long.
Paris sucks.
I'm trying to reclaim it.
I wouldn't know any better
There's
than
the
you.
Hollywood map. I know that one.
Yeah. There's a Route 66 map.
Route 66. I was thinking of that.
Paris map. It's a control. It's not a control point map. It's a payload map.
Is it Blizzard World? That's a map.
No, that's a better map than a lot of people give it credit for, but it's not that one. Anyway, it's one of those. It's kind of in that spirit, like with the umbrellas and like it's the Venice one. It's not Venice, but it's the Venice-esque one where there's some water and they're like right beside the water and it's built on the water and shit like that. But there's a map like that in the bot games that's not the same, but it's very similar to that map. Not in shape or anything, just kind of the art style. And they could just do that for story missions. Like, why would they not do that? But it's just an interesting way to go. And it's a valiant effort, like trying to keep everybody without having to invest more money. But at the same time, you're just kind of like going, it's Blizzard. Why would they not want more money? Because I would definitely spend more money on Overwatch 2, but it doesn't even look like it's worth getting at this point. But then again, there's a lot of people reporting that it's like 5% of the game is developed, and they announced it super early just to quell chatter about the China thing and the Hong Kong.
Listen, all I want is to have a dedicated story map, and I'll be like, all right, I'm fine with this game. That's the one thing that pissed me off about that trailer.
I mean, they might end up doing that. It's still, like you said, early development.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll have to wait and see on that.
Shitty game.
So we did like a pseudo news thing. I didn't expect that. I thought we were going to
Overwatch
talk to Kwan
news.
Overwatch news. I assume we're coming up to the end of our time. I started my recording early, so I don't actually know
I think
how long we've
this
been
has
going.
been plenty long of an episode.
Yeah, I need
All
a
right.
glass of water.
Well,
Any more
thanks.
any closing thoughts or shout outs you want to give, Kwan?
Shout outs to Huff for rooming with me at all the GDQs. That's about it.
Earl, yeah. Huff's a good man.
Shout outs to Pokemon Sword and Shield, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Best game ever.
9.3 out of 10.
Best trees ever.
All the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate you coming kind of short notice onto the podcast to give us your, I don't know, Pokemon expertise.
Yeah, originally this was just gonna be me and Sid, but then you like, yo, Pokemon, that's my thing.
Yeah, if there was any
like,
episode, this was the episode I should have been on.
yeah, for sure.
Makes sense.
I should, yeah.
And we're probably gonna get all the good people members at some point. We got Cap and we got you, so.
Pyro Shade is going to be an effort.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah,
if you get Pyro on, bro, I will donate money to you guys.
Dude, when Overwatch 2 comes out, if I can get Pyro Shade on the podcast, that would be
I will
amazing.
eat my left
we
nutsack
need
if
to
we get
start
him
a
on podcast.
we need to start a GoFundMe to get Pyro Shade on the podcast.
That'd be so sick. But yeah, follow Kwaniza at _Kwaniza on Twitter, right?
It's just Kwaniza _ on Twitter, but
And then on Twitch, is it just Kwaniza?
yeah, but don't follow me on Twitch. I'm never streaming again.
He quit streaming.
Yeah.
He's retired, everybody. Well, that's been Video Games Are Hard episode 8, to be determined episode name that you guys will all see.
Is this 8 or 7?
7?
I think this is 7.
I don't know. All the numbers
Are we already at the
getting
point where I
mixed
can't remember what episode this is? Oh my god.
up. I feel like I said episode 7 earlier in the
Hold
podcast.
on, let me
so
check.
I think we're cool. But anyway, I've been Cider Williams.
I've been
Trey's
Average
checking
Trey.
Oh, he's been Average Trey. He was going to check the episode number. And
This is
that's the end
episode
of the
7.
episode. This is episode 7.
Episode
Enjoy episode 8 next week and episode 6 previous to this if you haven't listened to that one yet.
You
What's
guys need like a music track or something to intro your podcast. Where you,
Ba-da-da-da.
yeah, when you
No.
guys do that, when you guys initially intro, you do like, we're going to talk about this. Then you got to have a music track. Then you start talking. That's my
That'd be some
one
professional
complaint
shit.
about the thing.
All
Just,
right,
have,
well,
just have Kenny make a song or something for you guys. I don't know who.
Find us a
No.
sick SoundCloud artist willing to make some sick beats for us.
Oh,
and,
Pear Strike. Pear Strike makes music.
Ooh, okay.
Pear Strike is going to listen to this episode because you're a
Yeah,
guest.
he is.
Oh, that's right. What up, Pear Strike? I love you. Okay, that's it.
Woo!
All right.
If you listen to the whole thing and made it this far, I will give him so much.
I really like that Kirby racing game you play.
I love it.
Or Air Ride. Woo!
That's the one.
Got it.
But all right. Have a good night, everyone, and good day. It's
Bye.
night here. Whatever.
Cited
Goodbye.
Williams on Twitter. AverageTreyVG on YouTube.
Yes.